Hello and welcome to the cesspool, and welcome back to the 25 days of Christmas. Happy holidays, happy new year, all that fun stuff. And we're back on the floor again. We're going to be taking a look at another inbox video game. Take a look at what's inside, what the unboxing of obscure video game related items would be. And today we're going to be taking a look at a second generation video game console box. The most well known, obviously, the Atari 2600. You don't see a lot of people talking about Atari these days, and for good reason, but I'm talking about it today a little bit. This is an official Atari game, Combat, one that is actually produced by, or developed by Atari itself. Almost said Nintendo, because I'm used to saying that, but no, let's talk about Atari today, no Nintendo. Atari 2600, the best video game console of the second generation. Debatably better than its competitors, which came along a lot later. The 2600 came out in 1976. It was really the first real video game console with interchangeable cartridges that you could any company could make them, and they weren't programmed into the console, which is a big issue that most companies had in the past. The Fairchild Channel F was a bit of an exception there, but right here, 2600 Combat. This is a compilation game. It's a bunch of basically the same game but with different rule sets. So they claim that as 27 video games included. It isn't. It's more like 5 or 6. There's a bunch of different types of games. So you have tank pong, whatever that means, biplane, invisible tank, and fighter jet. And some games are 2-player, and they really like to talk about that because that was a big deal that the console was 2-player. Apparently, even though I believe the 2600 was 2-player, but whatever. And some classic Atari tropes are here. We have the very detailed box art. Pull this guy out of his protective sleeve here. We have the very detailed Atari box art. The classic 70s Atari font, and some basic history about Atari, or the 2600 in particular. When this console came out, it was the biggest thing. And it was for several years, over 5 years, 5 or 6 roughly, until 1983 with the video game crash, which they kind of caused themselves from this kind of problem where you would have this really, really detailed artwork, beautiful artwork, honestly, mostly painted or, hand-drawn. And that's what they would represent the game would look like. You get the game, you plug her in, and it looks like poop. So this was the contrast, and people got a little upset about that, so they stopped buying video games. Nintendo did come around and save that. I know I said I wasn't going to say that, but Nintendo did come around and kind of save the North American video game industry with the NES. Debatably, it might have survived in other ways, but as far as the home video game market, Nintendo definitely saved everybody's bacon. So on the back, let's talk about the side. On the side, Combat, again, in the regular Atari font. And it lists the 2-player options, different games, and as well as how to hold the Atari joystick, because I've always wanted to know, how do you do it? Use your joystick controllers with this game program. Hold the controller with the red button to your upper left towards your television screen. Interesting that they cut off television. Atari Inc. in Sunnyvale, California. Apparently a part of Warner Brothers at this point. Again, this is 1978. That's when this game released. So, and 2600 games were very different depending on who made them. This is an official Atari release, so they tended to look generally the same. Sometimes you'd have larger artwork or larger text, but it would sort of look like this, and they would be different colors, but it would be the same font type and that kind of thing. If you're getting something from Activision or whoever at the time, it's all going to look different. They're not even the cartridges are the same type. But we're going to open her up here and see what's going on inside. Taking a look. So we have these cardboard inserts that kind of just sit in here, and they keep the cartridge inside. We're going to pull that out. We'll talk about that in a moment. And as well in here is the manual. That kind of slides, it's just kind of hanging out behind the cartridge, so I'm going to pull that out as well. Throw it down there. And that is all that's in there. There's a little cardboard insert, if you can see diagonally there, and that keeps the game in place because this box is a little bit, okay, don't want to damage her, a little bit too big for the for the cartridge and the manual. It's you know, this is again kind of part of Atari trying to make it seem like, oh, you're getting more than what you paid for. Look at how big the product is on the shelf. It stands out better than something this size or even this size. Which, I mean, this is about this. I mean, Switch games are a tiny bit bigger than this, but yeah, they're starting to do that. The S games worked; they weren't much bigger than that. The boxes. But yeah, this is what Atari went with again. Nothing was proven yet. This is early in video game history. And in that case, everything had to be very simplified, which is why you get like phrasing like video computer system or game program. Just basic computer jargon. So again, game program, combat, and then it lists the games, can use with joystick controller, combat, all that. That's all you get on here. No markings, no Atari. No copyright, but this was Atari's design. This is what they wanted you to use, but everybody used different designs. It was entirely based on what you wanted. Activision infamously used different ones. So then you got your instruction booklet, which is not really a booklet. It's like 4 pages. Game program instructions, and these are certainly instructions. It's going to tell you how to use the joystick in different games. Your different attacks. These are specifically for the biplane game, Jet Fighter, and Tank Pong. Difficulty. Rule of thumb. We got a little tips and tricks as well. And these are all kind of like Neanderthal cave paintings because they don't have like artwork or screenshots to actually show what what's going on in the game. They actually had to do stuff like this. So you're kind of getting like an artist's interpretation of what the game would look like. And there would be figures here that correspond with what the game is. Tank games, these are all figure G and H and E. So you could go back. Oh, I gotta look at figure E right there. Okay, you can go back. Guided missile. And they were kind of guides to explain what the game would look like before you play. Same thing here. And on the back, it's kind of like a graph of the different types of games, what corresponds with them, the different rule sets, and that's all you get. It is a little funny that you get a graph on your video game, and it's not a spreadsheet, but hey, what am I to judge Atari on what they should or should not do? And that is all there is to these things. No, no ads, nothing. This is all you get. This is all Atari could. This is all you could handle in 1978, according to Atari. And yeah, this is what Atari was doing back in the day. So, thanks for joining me on this little unboxing, taking a trip into video game history, and seeing what was really going on inside these basic-ass cardboard boxes from Atari's heyday, I suppose. So yes, thank you all so much for watching. Happy holidays, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas if you celebrate. Of course, if you're watching these in order, I will see you tomorrow. But if you're watching them in the future, I don't know when the next video will be, but I'll see you guys then.